Welcome to our e-learning video on the subject of the Electoral College in U.S. politics. The Electoral College is a mechanism established by the Constitution of the United States for the indirect election of both the President and the Vice President. This system was created by the Founding Fathers as a compromise between electing the President by a vote in Congress and election by popular vote of citizens. At its inception, the Electoral College was intended to serve multiple purposes. It was seen as a way to balance the power between smaller and larger states, contribute to the cohesiveness of the country by requiring a distribution of popular support to be elected, and as a buffer against the potential tyranny of the majority. It also provided a degree of separation between the Congress and the election of the President to preserve the independence of the executive branch. The structure of the Electoral College consists of electors equal to the total number of members in the Senate and the House of Representatives, plus 3 electors from the District of Columbia as granted by the 23rd Amendment in 1961. Each state has a minimum of 3 electoral votes, and additional electors are apportioned based on congressional representation, which is determined by the decennial census. The process begins with each political party or independent candidate selecting their own slate of potential electors. During the presidential election, when citizens cast their votes, they're actually voting for the slate of electors proposed by the candidate's party that has pledged to vote for their party's candidate. This means that the Electoral College is generally a winner-take-all system, where the candidate receiving the majority of votes in a state wins all of that state's electoral votes. In December, after the general election, the chosen electors meet in their respective state capitals to cast their electoral votes. These votes are then sealed and sent to the President of the Senate, who opens and reads them before both houses of Congress in January. The candidate who receives a majority of electoral votes, at least 270 out of 538, is declared the President. This system has been subject to criticism and calls for reform. Critics argue that the Electoral College can result in a president being elected without winning the popular vote, as seen in several elections, most recently in 2016. This discrepancy raises questions about the democratic nature of the system and whether it still serves the best interests of a modern and increasingly diverse electorate. The debate over the Electoral College is deeply intertwined with issues of fairness, representation, and the evolving nature of American democracy. One of the primary criticisms of the Electoral College is its potential to create discrepancies between the national popular vote and the electoral vote outcome. This phenomenon has occurred 5 times in American history, where the elected president did not win the popular vote. Such instances raise significant concerns about the legitimacy and democratic nature of the electoral process. Critics also point out that the Electoral College emphasizes the role of swing states in presidential elections, leading to candidates focusing their campaigns disproportionately on these states while neglecting those with either solid Democratic or Republican majorities. This can lead to a sense that votes in safe states are less impactful, potentially decreasing voter turnout and affecting the overall engagement of the electorate. In response to these criticisms, several reform proposals have been put forward. The most prominent among them is the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact, NPVIC. This agreement between states aims to ensure that the presidency would always go to the candidate who receives the most votes nationwide. States that join the compact agree to award all their electoral votes to the candidate who wins the national popular vote, but the compact only takes effect once it encompasses states holding a majority of the electoral votes minus 270 or more. Another proposal involves modifying the Electoral College to allocate electoral votes proportionally based on the popular vote within each state, rather than adhering to the winner-takes-all rule. This change would reflect a more accurate representation of the electorate's will in each state, potentially resolving issues of fairness and voter disenfranchisement. While these proposals offer potential solutions, they also face significant challenges. The NPVIC, for example, has been subject to legal and constitutional debates, with questions about its viability without congressional consent. Similarly, changing the allocation method of electoral votes would require amendments to state laws, which could be a lengthy and politically fraught process. The future of the Electoral College remains uncertain. is a complex blend of historical tradition and contemporary political dynamics. Any changes to this system would not only alter the landscape of presidential elections, but could also have profound implications on the political balance and governance of the United States. As we conclude our discussion on the Electoral College, it's clear that this institution continues to be a pivotal part of American political life, with passionate debates and strong opinions on all sides. Whether reform is possible or even desirable remains a topic of active and ongoing discussion among scholars, politicians, and the public. Thank you for joining us for this detailed look at the Electoral College. If you enjoyed this video and found it informative, please like and subscribe to our channel for more discussions on important political topics and educational content. Your engagement helps us bring more insights and in-depth analysis into the complex world of politics.